to give the people what they want. It's Jalen and Jacoby.
Welcome to a special episode of Jalen Jacoby. Jalen, we don't have guests on this show.
We don't. Strict VIP.
So you know we have some legends in the building if you see some other people on the screen with us. Joined by Fabulous and Jadakiss. Thank you both so much for coming through. It means a lot to us.
Freddie and Jason.
Jalen and Jacoby.
Yes,
Right.
indeed.
And we got the Black Friday release of the Freddie vs. Jason mixtape. We're all very excited for it.
It's actually called Friday on Elm Street due to some licensing issues.
I understand.
So, yeah.
You're like, how much? Okay, yeah. We'll change the name. We'll change the name.
No problem.
Yeah, no problem at all. Last night, Kyrie Irving, who has been on fire, absolutely scorched the Mavs. He had 47 points on 22 shots, doing it in all different ways. Here you see him weaving through the lane, getting Dirk, who didn't even jump, trying to contest that. JJ Barea going right past him. Ultimately, the Celtics won in overtime and extended their streak to 16 games. After the game, Danny Ainge tweeted this about Kyrie's performance. Maybe the world is flat at Kyrie Irving's Celtic world. So, Fab, my question is for you. Kyrie Irving said the world was flat, and we all kind of laughed at him for it. And now Danny Ainge is kind of rolling with it because he's playing so well. Would you support Jada if he said the world was flat?
Yeah, if he was playing well, if he was rapping, well, you gotta support whatever. Sometimes too, you gotta support whatever kind of mind state is getting people to play at or perform at their highest level. So I would definitely, support my brother, support Kiss, support anybody who's in my circle to perform well. You know what I'm saying? Just to give them that reassurance that you support them and you behind them. You know what I mean?
Next, we have this. There's been a lot of talk about medicinal marijuana use in the National Basketball Association.
Cultural.
First, we had David Stern saying that he supported actually it being legalized for players in the NBA. Karl Anthony Towns, a rising superstar, also supported that. Jada, I saw you already gave it the thumbs up. Do you support them sort of allowing players to use medical marijuana in the league?
I support it. I watch a lot of TV. I watch a lot of shows. I see retired and ex-sports athletes that say the medicinal marijuana helped them more than, other meds and things that they were given. So why not? If it's being tested and right before your face and working on athletes that endured enormous amounts of pain, let them use it.
I'm rolling with you, Kiss, and I want to get your thoughts, Fab, because the opioid crisis has continued to take off. And we only had this conversation where athletes get punished for marijuana in basketball and in football. Mm-hmm. Those sports just so happen to be majority black sports. Mm-hmm. We don't have this conversation in NASCAR and tennis, in golf. So, Fab, how do you feel about it possibly being cultural and it being something that possibly can benefit the players?
I'm really 50-50. I think as for a player, it's definitely per their use and per how it helps their situation. But I also think when you think of NBA players, how big they are as role models for kids. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the line gets a little crossed a little bit with me, because I know kids are gonna take on and do whatever their favorite players are. When you still shooting a piece of trash in the garbage can saying Kobe. You know what I'm saying? So everything that they do is influential to them. So I don't know if a 12-year-old should look to a basketball player or athlete and see them smoking weed, and you know what I mean. So, but I do feel that's why I'm on the fence with it. I don't think they would be. It's not posted up on the gram or in the club. This is the same way they get treatment. Then there should be some type of violation like basketball. But this is the same as getting a treatment. The same as them getting treatments and going to take all kind of shots and do all whatever. This is that. That's in the locker room and at the facilities and all that. All right, so behind the scenes is really the conversation. If they definitely because it wouldn't be for them to promote it. They're still role models, like you say. They can't just be on Front Street just
it seems like they're trying to sneak it in the back door, kind of like, oh, I need the creams and the CBD oils. It's going to be really good for my joints. Yeah. But then once you get past that, I think a lot of them are just going to be getting high. You know what I mean? I'm sure the three of you have never seen an NBA athlete smoke marijuana before,
no,
right?
Athletes would do such a thing like that.
Never come across that in your career.
I've heard the myth.
It's like a chupacabra.
I don't recall.
Next, it's about to get socially awkward for Ray Allen. Now, this is complicated. I'm not going to spend the 30 seconds it'll take to describe everything that happened in this case, but Ray Allen was catfished by a man pretending to be multiple women on the internet. And then it seems like he was extorted by that person. It seems like he paid that person and had a confidentiality agreement. And now that person that catfished Ray Allen is bringing him to court saying that Ray Allen was stalking him online. It gets very messy and confusing. It sounds like there's a crazy person out there that's not Ray Allen. My question for you is this, you know, we all are on social media. You see the ads and you see the DMs. What are some red flags when you see something in there?
Everything's a red flag.
Everything. I can't even gauge what and what. It's a messy game and on DM Avenue, and unfortunately, people are gonna get caught up and continue to get caught up because there's no way to gauge. You're talking to somebody that you completely don't know in most cases of that. So you don't know what kind of person it is. You don't know what their motive is. You know what I mean? All you can see is this picture. If it looks nice,
still might not be
right.
Yeah.
And that goes down to why you being like you can get catfish because it might not even be their picture. You're having a broad conversation about whatever y'all are talking about with somebody who might not even be them. So there's no safety net on the net.
How do you think Ray Allen explains this to the people around him?
So it's levels to this. The number one reason why he got in trouble is because he's married. So that's what made him pray.
That's what started the whole cover-up.
That's a tough conversation.
That started the whole cover-up.
Right?
He
doesn't need to pay. You don't need to pay anybody.
Correct. And the second thing is if you have something to lose, money, fame, your reputation, those are the people they're going after. So that then those are the people that turn around and pay them off for their confidence.
Well, I want to thank both you guys for coming on the show with Jalen, but this isn't the first time that you guys have done a little production with Jalen before.
Oh, I thought you was going to say this was the first time Ray Allen got caught.
Probably not, let's be honest.
Well, it's not. He got caught sliding in the DMs and sent it out to the public before.
Oh, that is right.
This is true.
Ray needs to get back in the league. He needs to get back in the gym.
He got too much idle time on his hands right now. Somebody got to shine Ray right now.
He's used to taking 1,000 shots a day.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's just taking different kinds of shots. Exactly. But you guys have worked with Jalen before. Jalen's actually appeared in a video of each of yours. And my question is for you, Jalen.
For that, I just want to
he gives himself plenty of credit for that. We talk about it every day on the show. Yeah, he leads with that. He's like, I don't got the ring, but I got the hairline.
He didn't pay attention to black people's hair until we started becoming brothers.
No, I didn't even care about hairlines. Like Beijing, like we got one Beijing. That's a city. Beijing's a city.
Not at all. He didn't know about the topics or none of that.
The black farmers look at my hairline. There's confusion. It's like, go away. We're done. We're done. Just go. It's fine.
Oh, man.
But I also want to appreciate you guys for coming by and for sticking around because when we come back, we're gonna get a taste of your new song from the new mixtape that drops on Black Friday.
Shout to Chic. Shout to Style. Shout to Clue.
Shout out to the family.
Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN 2. Limp Biscuit Day here on Jalen and Jacoby.
Can you do that again?
Like a chump.
I forget that you're a white guy sometimes.
I'm so white.
Do
Never,
that again.
ever. That's how I play the bass. Playing the bass, Jalen. Never, ever, ever forget that I'm a white guy. And if you do, I will remind you very quickly with some of my behaviors. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. You are listening to Stand Up.
Bars!
Bars.
You know what I like more than music,
We
Jacoby?
are joined by Fabulous and Jada. What do they have, Jalen Rose?
Bars! 20 years worth. Get out the pen and pad, youngsters.
That's a lot of
Where do I
bars.
like to hang out, Jalen?
Bars!
So you are dropping Friday on Elm Street. This Friday, Black Friday. What can fans look forward to with this project?
Good hip hop, some New York City authentic great hip hop from two of, you know, the architects of New York City hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So
that's a good point. I associate the two of you so much with New York City, and after beating the Knicks, LeBron James posted this on Instagram, a picture of himself standing on a Knicks logo saying, "You're welcome, King of New York." Jada, what do you think about LeBron trolling the Knicks?
I thought that was good for sports, good for basketball culture, good for good press, good internet. You know what I mean? I didn't take it to heart.
People was taking it to heart.
People was putting up their life on. You know what I mean? I didn't think it was that serious.
LeBron death threats.
He had a good game, and he let you know about it as he was supposed to.
Okay.
And it's the Knicks' fault because they had that game.
Definitely.
They did have that game. They was up 20+, and they let him come back and put the smack down.
They let LeBron put that picture up and put that caption.
They made that possible.
Yeah.
And as a road team, it's nothing better than going to New York and winning.
Yeah.
Because
that's what I was telling them too.
Nothing better.
That's the Garden is like every big time player has came to the Garden and want to show their stuff on you know what I mean? Jordan, Kobe, LeBron.
Even Steph Curry had a signature game there. Like when you were going to the Garden, how was it different for you, Jalen?
Oh, it was Indiana and the Knicks were rivals when I played. That's the glory days of the most recent Knick history. They had Patrick Ewing and LJ and Spreewell and Allen Houston. They had John Starks.
And not only was the teams more aggressive, I feel like New York was more aggressive than too. Like you were gonna hear it. You know what I mean? When you come into town, when you know what I mean, the fans were way more aggressive. So
the walk to from the hotel to the Garden or however you got there was a little different back then than it is now.
And nothing was better than
LeBron and them took the train.
How about that? That would have happened. I was not getting on the train with Reggie and Mark Jackson. If he from there, no, not gonna be able to do it. That wasn't happening.
I got on that train ride.
I'm not going to about the Metro card. Like some guy had to get a $60 Metro card, let everybody go through. You know, it's just like logistically difficult.
That would have been the worst train ride you would have ever had in the 90s, man.
No doubt. So being New York City pioneers and seeing athletes out and about on the scene, champagning and campaigning, who's some of you guys' favorite New York City athletes?
Recent or?
Whatever you want.
All time, Joe Namath, Derek Jeter.
They could be from New York.
Yeah,
they don't have to play
captain.
there.
I would say, of course, the captain, Derek Jeter.
Jeter always was a class act.
All of them Knicks from back then, from Ewing, Mason.
Ewing. They cool dudes,
Oakley,
Mason.
Strickland.
All of them old guys, you know, all of the vintage
Even
NBA
to some
Knick
of the younger
players.
guys now, Odell.
You never see them out.
Yeah, I see them.
Oh, you do? Oh, you think Odell goes out? Oh, you think he goes out?
Not right now.
He's rehabilitating right now.
Let's get it back right.
Well, both you guys are wearing watches. I'm sure you've seen a lot of fancy timepieces, but we featured Jada on this program because you created the greatest clock or watch in the history of this human species.
That's classic, right?
You have the 1 through 12 Jordans on the wall.
I didn't create that. I just seen it. I seen it on the net on a couple of sites.
I saw it too.
Oh, take credit.
Anybody who
Take
sees
credit.
that, if you're a sneaker dude, you want that in your crib. You want that.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because it takes 12 pairs of sneakers to make that, right, Jada?
Yeah.
Which means you got another foot to build a second one somewhere, like this studio.
Oh, you want me to? I thought I was donating the bus. Y'all want me to donate?
I'd rather have a bus. No, we'll pay for it. We'll pay for it. I'm just saying you got because you had to buy 12 pairs, then use one foot.
What you didn't see on that picture is I took them to Home Depot and got them shrink wrapped with the clear plastic, so they still wearable.
Oh, smart.
Yeah.
And also they don't turn all yellow because you're gonna have that for a few years.
They gonna.
And you have some friends over. They want to touch them and stuff.
Send them. It's all
No,
good.
we're good. We're good. We don't
I
have
got
enough room.
doubles and triples.
Jalen only lets certain stuff in the studio walls. He cares so much more about the studio walls than he cares about the show. It's kind of embarrassing.
Studio walls are amazing in here.
important.
Classic.
He cares about.
Immortals.
Well, you know, Immortal's important to Jalen and also sort of like legacy. You know, and there's one thing that we've already pitched this to you, Fab, when we saw you in New York, that's very important to Jalen, and that's what about the Barclays Center, Jalen?
I'm disappointed when I go to New York City and watch the Nets play and see a statue outside of Captain America.
They moved it since then, but they had one there at one point.
There need to be a statue of the notorious Big outside of that arena.
Definitely needs
That's facts.
Biggie. Just in Brooklyn alone, like Brooklyn, like you know, you got to highlight the strength of Brooklyn with our heroes. You know what I'm saying?
You don't think that Captain America represents the Brooklyn Borough?
When I say heroes, I mean like heroes, like not Captain America. You know? Captain America didn't come save me when when people was trying to like take my lunch money, or like Captain America wasn't around. You know what I mean? I might have listened to some Biggie and then knew what to do when they so.
Give me the look. Give me the look.
One thing I have to ask you about, because we talk about the Knicks and we talk about Biggie, do you think that story is true?
The Knicks and Biggie?
Yeah,
one of those 6 5
yeah, story to tell.
I believe
I think it should be. I think it's some truth to that story. He might have just to protect individuals and himself. He might have switched it around a little bit, but I definitely think it's some truth.
Let me see, athletes and entertainers sleeping with the same women. That wouldn't happen, would it?
I'm gonna save y'all. Thank y'all so much for coming out. not gonna make you answer that one. I want to say thank you so much. On Black Friday, Friday on Elm Street drops.
Thank you.
Friday on Elm Street.
Yes, sir.
Get it.
Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Want to thank Jadakiss and Fabulous for coming through. If you missed them, make sure you subscribe to the Jalen and Jacoby podcast. But Jalen, there's something that's very important. We have a mystery that we need you to unravel. I know you didn't prepare for this, but here's what we have.
You're not preparing?
Handshakes have gotten really crazy in the world of sports, and the USC football team has taken it to a whole new level. Check out this handshake between Sam Darnold and his teammate. Okay, watch number 80 in the background, Jalen. They've disappeared a player. They've made a human being vanish just as part of their handshake. Jalen, how did they make number 80 completely disappear from the planet Earth?
That's what happened to them as it related to being a college football playoff.
Okay.
They were, like my University of Michigan Wolverines, trending in that direction, lost a couple
So you're just going to breeze over the fact
year.
that a human being disappeared from the football field?
He didn't disappear.
He disappeared. You just saw the video.
He ducked behind.
You think he ducked down? All of a sudden, he's decided to hit the ground, do a push-up in a plank position? That's your explanation for this one? You really helped with the Ty Lue thing.
How about this? Pete Carroll's getting a lot of heat in Seattle these days for decision-making. He might as well go back to coach USC.
It's time for Soft Move or Boss Move. The Sixers beat the Jazz last night, but the most interesting part of the game happened right here. We have Joel Embiid blocking impressive rookie Donovan Mitchell's shot. He talks to him a little bit. Mitchell gets up, gives him a little shove, and Embiid goes down. Now, let me remind you that Mitchell weighs 209 pounds, Embiid weighs 249. Jalen, taking advantage of the flopportunity, even when you are outweighing somebody by 40 pounds, soft move or boss move?
Boss move.
Come on now. Getting a tech on a rookie for that.
It's one of those things, again. He can't be one of my guys anymore because he's mainstream. But I've told you guys this. I've been on the University of Kansas campus when he was in college. Bill Self told me that Joel Embiid was going to be the greatest player that he ever coached.
Oh.
I was like, you ever coached? He's like, yeah. And so the thing I appreciate about him, big personality, terrific talent, but when you look at his body and how he moves, it's like limber and like old school.
But let's talk about his body and how he moves when he gets pushed by a tiny person and then just falls over like he got hit by Ray Lewis coming unblocked from the outside.
Who made up the word flopportunity?
I did.
So you know it's a boss move to you.
It's not a boss move.
I know.
It's not.
So then that word can't be a part of the lexicon then.
Yes, it can, because I decided it can. Those are the things that I decided.
What's the reason for having soldiers if you can't use them?
Can we move on?
I'm Rico. This is what I do.
You're the best. New York Times reporter Chris Buckley tweeted out this photo of a Chinese knockoff Jordans. But look at the logo. They really took a crack at improving the logo on Jordan. Soft move or very soft move, putting a butt crack on the Jordan logo in some knockoffs?
That's a soft move. And a couple of things. And you know we support power couples on this show. There was a time when His Airness was going through his whole divorce proceedings, and I actually used the joke like, man, that's messed up. You're going to have his ex-wife with the left hand with the junk woman in the purse. So now I see this, it kind of reminds me of that thought back then, but there's no such thing as knocking off Michael Air Jeffrey
Whose idea
Jordan.
was that? Who was like, let's improve the Jordan logo.
Audrey.
Let's just make him look like he's a red naked person.
There he is, me. Shout, Nico. Appreciate the love for JRLA.
Next, we have this. Fox 5 in New York was doing a piece about scaffolding on the sidewalk, right? And what they're doing is they're just talking to locals about how they feel about scaffolding and how they evaluate scaffolding. And one of the people that they discussed about this, you might recognize. Let's take a look.
You can kind of tell when I think a structure is, put together well. And so I usually observe if the piping and stuff is new, or if sometimes, some of it looks like it's been there a while. I kind of try to avoid that.
I love this so much.
Does the piping look new?
It's just like, when I walk around and I see some scaffolding, before I go underneath it, I just evaluate it, see if it's rusty, see if the screws are tightened.
You hear that? Telephone ringing.
Oh no! What's happening? Is it
Clay?
Is it
telephone?
Is it
It's Adam Silver.
Commissioner,
I would like to inform you that I saw your interview in New York City.
Oh, you like that scaffolding?
I'm actually here too, and I saw it on the local news.
What happened?
That's a failed test.
Oh, that's a failed test.
No question about it.
I was just giving people they want. You know what I mean? I was walking the streets. They want to know how I felt about scaffolding. I just stopped to give an interview.
Out walking in New York by myself, Scully on.
Jalen and Jacoby. We'll be back tomorrow.